once again, this is your boy Black Captain. This is DPZ here. Yeah, it's yet another video where I had sound issues. Really got to make sure that I check them before. Always do a sound check before you record. For those thinking about doing something similar, like I'm doing, this is a set of like 6 videos that I'm gonna be playing in varying speeds because of different content. And I figured, why break this up into 2 videos? I could, but this is gonna be about as long as my normal videos. So I figured, why not just go ahead and put them all together, talk with the people. So yeah, it took me a while to actually advance to this point. uh, I got whatever was some kind of bromide thing that what's her face, the store lady, was requesting at some point. Do remember where I found it? Probably a boss battle, and then I didn't like know how to progress. I ended up eventually going back to the store, and she's like, "Oh," or something like that, and she took my picture, and I knew exactly where to go after that. You go to OD, who gives you the like ID card, and then you're able to advance. So that, as much as I remember the first part, I just didn't know I had the material to make it. And so I think I took the Twin Dragons warp and then came and boarded the train. This part was really interesting, and you get to partner with I don't know the name, Zangetsu, the guy from the first game. So this part was definitely really cool. I was like, oh, cool, little scrolling part, and I wasn't sure if this was you only get to do this once. So you'll see me spending a bit of time making sure I kill everything, search every nook and cranny, because if this is a one and done, I wanted to 100% this game on the first try. So I thought about playing this part in 4 times speed, but ends up going by really fast. So I'll fill in the gap with a little bit more about me in this game. Still enjoying it. I'm not much different than my previous video. Uh, Here, I do remember I was having, I think, I'm not sure if I was under level or just doing poorly. It could have been a mix of the two. I know this is my first. I was just like, oh, I gotta make sure I gotta kill these enemies. I'm not sure if they're gonna appear later. And I'm thinking, oh, should I farm? And then I only got 5 minutes here. I've already used a minute just like looking in the first kind of area. Definitely like the look of this map, and it kind of reminds me. I think this game called Shadow Complex. It's from something that's released on the Origin platform, I believe, and probably something else too. That it just looks at this. It's a 2D side-scrolling game. I'm not sure it's like considered a Metroidvania, but I like the look of the environments, even if you don't really actually use them. So I'm not sure how. Do I not have the ability to? Yeah, I've also long since beaten this game. See, I knew I had double jump. Like, why can't I get up there? So yeah, so I guess in the a little bit before something interesting does happen, like, not really a spoiler, but yeah, not much interesting does happen here. I think at this point I had farmed those bunny girls because I liked their. I never really used their power. People talk about trying to do a bunny transformation, bunny morphosis playthrough, because their shard lets you let you play as those bunny chicks. And I know I've since maxed it out, just to like, well, not to be an interesting thing. You can't use weapons. I don't believe you can use weapons. You use all of their moveset, I do believe, but I don't think they have. I'm not sure if they have a lot of moves. I'm not sure. Because I don't really use the power. I should see what 9-9 on that shard does. If it added new moves, I feel like it just does new poses. I mean, it's just a gimmick. I would like to see maybe some DLC that made it relevant, like you infiltrate a bunny place. So this part was interesting because I'm like, okay, up to this point everything was good, and I can't seem to find my way to advance. Now, if those have probably already seen it, there's a little magic door that you're supposed to hold your palm up, and not much of a spoiler, but I guess it kind of is. You don't really use that power in this game. I think there's only two places. I think there's only two places, maybe three, in the entire game where without that where you need to use the whole pointing thing. It's sorely underutilized. I feel like it was just a gimmick to I don't know, make more commands. Like it could have just been a switch to hit in the door. Like so, you see, like I was like looking like how do you move it, and then I noticed. I think at this point I noticed the. Nope, I still haven't noticed it yet. Okay, now I did. Yeah, I noticed it. See, you hold your palm up there. But yeah, that and the first time they introduce you to it, you don't. I don't recall ever having to like needing to, because there are other. I literally just got the buddy morphosis here. So yeah, I was just like, what the heck do you do? By now I'd played a good portion of the game. I figured there was gonna be a boss, so I was like, okay, I've got 1 minute left, not even a minute. So I'm like, how are we gonna? I'm like, okay, I'm probably just gonna mac this guy. So what am I changing here? I can barely even see it on my monitor. Interesting looking boss, but I was like, okay, when my partner is in the back, there's probably something that I need to protect myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, that probably would have. Yeah, I'm looking at my life right now. I'm like, that would have done a lot of stuff. And then when I saw him going, I'm like, oh, it's my time to shine. I definitely like the look of this boss, even though I don't think he was really mobile. I'm like, and then like, is he dead yet? Yeah, he's dead. I just didn't have a lot of time left, so I'm like, what more? What would he give me? Hammer knuckle. I think I maxed that one out. So yeah, definitely a cool bit, and I will revisit the train towards the end. I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload that because it was just this little bit, but there's a cool, I guess you would say, Easter egg on that train, and it's something, but I'm not sure if you call it Easter egg. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a reference. It's something culturally related on there, and you need to do it if you want to 100% the game. So yeah, that's the train part. And later on in the video, there'll be another part that I'll slow down, but I won't reveal who's involved. But I was glad at this point. There was a good gap here where there was nothing but like me grinding materials and um, exploring, and then I got to the point where I was stuck, and I didn't want to put that on camera because it's just it's mindless stuff. Everything I put on camera is me making progress for the most part, with a little bit of what I did in the interim. So like I'm not using that stone mask, which really sucked because I couldn't even see my person's face. The ribbon, which you see I have on my head now, I think I use that to the remainder of the game. It's one of the best luck headpieces I think I had for like, ever. So right, so I guess I can go to because the rest of this is going to be a little bit of just all the progress I made. I know I didn't like killing those dogs. Anything that was like look like a legit animal. I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Miriam is that chick's name. I always forget. I mean, she was like one of these side characters with this impossible hair. Any event. So I know I talked a lot about like games and stuff like that, but I should also talk about like where I want to kind of go with my channel and some things in the near future. So I am still playing Dark Souls 3. I'm playing that off and on. Uh, I've got I'm just enrolled in grad school, so that's gonna take up all of my time. So I'm trying to play when I can. Let's see. I don't think there's a lot of games on the horizon that I'm interested in. Let's see here. I mean, Dark Souls 3 will take me a good while to complete, for sure. I don't think there's anything out now that yeah, I actually don't think so. I'd have to look up my Steam library to see where I would be at in terms of where I'd be at in terms of what's out that's interesting. Just a lot of I've been looking at stuff, but nothing's really been taking in terms of my interest. Like, I'm actually gonna load up Steam right now to see like, is there a single game that I've favored in the past forever? I do want to. I'm still playing this game just to 100% it. This boss, there's no reason for me to slow it down because actually his whole thing is that he's supposed to be like really. Was he the fast dude? Essentially, he was really fast. Uh, but I beat him. I beat him fairly quickly, so it wasn't anything special. But you do get the reflector ray, which is necessary for traversing. It makes you like a miniature thing. Uh, Even though it ends up kind of being the one thing I didn't like this game. Like I get that they invent powers to. I mean, they essentially make artificial barriers of entry to prevent your progress, to force you to do something specific. So this power is used for you to get through these like narrow cracks, and there's also areas that you can reflect off or use reflection to travel, but you don't. It's not. It again, just like the whatever little magic hand thing. You don't use it that much. So a lot of the times it's just like, well, you get this power to do like one thing, one or two things, and there's another power you get later in the game that's essentially the same thing, and it's used to essentially 100% the game. I I guess I don't mind. I don't mind that there's powers that you use to against essentially slow down a person's progress and eventually kind of make the game a little more linear. But yeah, this is just that's just one of those powers. Yeah, I'm looking at my Steam's thing right now. I got things that are already out. Blaster Master Zero. I'd like to. I think I want to get that, do a playthrough of that game. I think it's a remaster of the old Blaster Master for the NES. Streets of Rogue, Sekiro, which I don't mind getting, but already playing Dark Souls 3, so I'll wait till Sekiro. I'll probably just sleep on that until the DLC comes out, if there's gonna be DLC. I might skip that game too. I know it's a great game though, really, really good game. Yeah, I've got nothing on my horizon. So I know there's Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, I believe it's called. It's old school MMO make. I'm in the process of me doing whatever I'm doing. I think I just got the little jet stream power that lets me go through water. So at least I believe I just got it. I'm too busy looking at other stuff to tell. But yeah, so yeah, no, nothing on the horizon. Just some old games, which is fine. And I mean, see, I listen to a lot of different game media to see kind of like what's going on in the industry, and it's the same thing that's always been going on. If I can rant, I come from the era where you bought a game and it was what it was. You bought the game. There wasn't any kind of DLC. I mean, there couldn't have been DLC with anything before GameCube. Essentially, if you're Nintendo or I don't think PlayStation 1 had online, so anything before PS2, obviously anything before Xbox. Uh, DLC back then was probably the second game or like a director's cut edition that would be released a little bit later with stuff that they really wanted to do. So you felt like you had more of a complete experience. Of course, I'm gonna assume the production value of games were lower, but I want to say everything being equal, the game developers were using the technology at the time, and probably could have gotten away with charging us with what they're charging us now. I don't try not to spend like $60 a pop for these games anymore. I did, I played in like Game Trajectory NES, had a Sega Genesis, then it was N64. then I can't remember if it was PlayStation or GameCube afterwards. I can't remember which one, but I picked up a PlayStation very late just to play just to play Final Fantasy VII, and then I think I played 9. And I played 8 for 3 seconds, and then I went back. I think I dropped PlayStation. I only had PlayStation for Final Fantasy, and then I had a PS2. Where did I go after PS2? After that, I got a Xbox 360, and that was what my friends and I. It was kind of like a graduation gift for college, and we all played, of course, Halo. And then we played Halo 2. No, we played Halo 3. And then I think we played Halo Reach together, and I had Dead or Alive. I got a few games for Xbox, but just to circle back, DLC wasn't. Let's see here. So PlayStation 2, I do remember updates. Let's see here. PlayStation, did it have DLC? I know Final Fantasy 11 would have been out, and I didn't. I had the game, but I, didn't have my mom's credit card, so I couldn't play it. I remember what was that? SOCOM? No, there wasn't. There. I remember map packs in Xbox. And this is a I know this is a Jibo fight. Not interesting. The only cool thing they did was the fact that they kind of made this like a circular arena. But I had already fought the dragon, which just was a lot cooler than this fight. So yeah, so I'm keeping it on fast motion. It's just I felt like they could have done more with this boss battle. I mean, he essentially kind of throws crap on the ground and runs away. But it was actually really powerful. I don't think I had a lot of. I could have changed to mind armor, but me wanting to always make sure I had enough luck to get stuff and not knowing if bosses dropped anything. Retrospect, I should have realized that bosses are not going to drop an item if they're a one and done, because they're not expecting you to, unless you can farm the boss, they're not expecting you to, be able. They're not expecting you to, like, if it was something important or anything. If you want 100% the game and you can only fight the character once, then essentially you have to restart the game if you don't get it, or reset, whatever, save scum, any of that stuff. So, and then they also got, I think, apparently free DLC playing for this game. Another character, whatever, co-op, whatever, which I can't imagine what co-op is like. And I want to talk about that Castlevania, I think it's called Harmony of Despair for Xbox 360. But just to go back to DLC, essentially what I'm trying to say, that I do not like, as probably anyone else, this push to have DLC and stretch out content. If you're going to do that, like, I think it's just a hard sell for people not to believe that they're not getting a full game, a full complete game. Because I just remember my game experiences from Nintendo 64 were a lot longer than games that I'm playing now, and they didn't have artificial bloating, like artificial things to do to spend time. Like, you'll find that in MMOs. I don't think you're gonna find a lot of other like games, like the need to grind. You don't need to grind in this game. And this game doesn't take you that long to beat. I think you can probably beat it, and I know people are speed running the game or whatever, but if you casually try to do everything, I would say you'll fluctuate. Maybe 15 to 10 hours. If you could probably beat it faster, but if you don't find, there's a lot of things that depend on RNG in this game. So, which I'm not sure if they're gonna patch out. Like, with here, I learned that people didn't get that water jet move on their first try. I did. I stacked luck, and I happened to get the shard that was necessary. It was a shard from an enemy you can find in the water. It's from the jellyfish that lets you to travel through the water. If you don't get that, you can't do anything. You can't even get to the Jeeble fight. And after you get the Jeeble fight, I mean, it doesn't really matter because you get the water, but you get the Jeeble, you've already traversed the water. After the Jeeble fight, you're able to walk in the water, which lets you use different powers. And And my advice is if you can upgrade that to max because the walking is just too slow. I think when you upgrade it, and you upgrade it with killing those underwater horses, which and they were pretty forgiving of dropping. I think you need like their hair and the hoof. They're really easy. I think you might even need the other horse to upgrade it. So I'm pretty sure you upgrade your movement speed and possibly your power underwater. I can't really remember. It's the movement speed alone is worth it, even if like the the movement speed like there's only one water area. Maybe they'll have another one. It's just the upgrades itself is just like we're gonna say it's only worth it to upgrade it for the movement speed, or there's only gonna be one water area. But if you do everything you need to do with the deep sinker shard, and then you can like what I did is I just swapped it for the jet to move around faster. If you do everything you need to do in one go, as I did, you essentially never need to upgrade it. I mean, there's no need to upgrade everything. Just find the shard that you like to do, use whatever. So I don't like DLC. I always felt like I had a complete game. A lot of the old games, I felt like the experiences lasted longer. And in 64, I just remember so many of these games. Like the replay value was crazy of these games. I mean, the party games obviously kind of you can they play you can play them forever essentially with your friends. I had Diddy Kong Racing, and we fast forward to PlayStation 2, and I had that Resident Evil Outbreak that didn't have a DLC, but they did have like a second file game, which was essentially DLC, but they marketed it like a second game. It was like the continuation with more features. I don't remember if that was a game that cost full boat back then, or if it cost like 40 or something dollars. SOCOM did have a map pack, I remember, and then I think they released it as like Frontal Assault, or I forgot what it was, or Combined Assault. I forget. It was like this stand-alone SOCOM 3 DLC. So there, I don't know. The game was freaking awesome. I do remember that. So yeah, not much I can recall with games I had for PlayStation 2 that had DLC. Oh, but then there was no. They released like the expansion that could import data from the first game. So I think of Fantasy Star Universe, they did that. I think, like I mentioned, SOCOM 3 did that. This that was like the era where I think DLCs were kind of becoming a thing. I don't know if I don't think Modern Warfare came out on Xbox One, and I never had an Xbox One. I played it though. But then you move into Xbox 2, and I didn't get any PlayStation after PlayStation 2. And I say Xbox 2, Xbox 360. And probably I didn't get into PC games until a little bit after Xbox 360, which might have already had DLC. I don't know. Essentially, you see a lot more DLC. So, Dead or Alive, I can't remember if Dead or Alive 4 had DLC, but I know 5 did. I definitely know 5 did. That just started becoming a thing. Do I have a single game now that doesn't have downloadable content? And like you'll see the menu for downloadable content before you'll see like the free like the fully functioning game. So it's just hard for and the game the time it takes. I'm not like terrible at games, so if the game is easy, I'm probably gonna beat it. In the 50 above 55 percentile of completion time. So like I'll be with people that will complete the game probably a little bit faster. But I'm a completionist, so it'll take me a little bit longer to do stuff, or like I'll have longer game time, but I could beat the game faster. I just like to get more out of my games. I like to have the complete experience. So now this boss, I wish they did more with it. At this point in time, I'm stacking the OP powers outside of using a pet that's like I've got like the one of the worst pets in the game, one of the worst familiars. The sword is cool if you wanna. I think you can make the sword to essentially the strongest one-handed weapon. But the sword itself, oh, you see, I'm using the bunny power. It's so cool. This is funny. I need to go back and actually use it. I'm glad I'm gonna. I'm just glad that I have that ability to show it off. So yeah, the game experience I feel like is a little bit shorter these days. If the game is easy, and like this game wasn't too difficult, there were some parts that definitely required you to have a little bit of luck and and a bit of remember. You have to kind of figure some things out, but it wasn't really a puzzle game. So like I started recording. I'm gonna delete the experience. I think if I hadn't already, missed three, whatever. It's just too confusing for me. I already mentioned this is too confusing for me. I do like games that make you think, but that is a straight up puzzle, jigsaw puzzle for my mind. I can't figure it out, and I'm not having fun. And I was just having this conversation with myself, because no one intelligent was around. If the game is not fun, it's just not worth it. If the last, if the story, if you care about the story, if that experience isn't tight for you, then it just makes the whole thing not worth it. Um, I did like this particular area. I still don't have the Aegis armor. I was not having a good time. Oh gosh, here. I do remember that. Liked the area, but at this point in time, I'm playing this in 4 times speed, but like I'm realizing I'm kind of breezing through these zones. There wasn't the one thing I know about this game is that they didn't make a lot of areas. So I don't think they did this in Castlevania, any similar games like this. But they don't make like these areas story relevant. So like there's a volcano place, cool, right? There's a there's a tower, that's interesting. There's a library because there's always a library, right? There's all these different locales that exist in a mansion, right? That have no bearing on the story, and then they'll have a boss that's just like, I'm a baddie, blah, and you kill them, and then you move on. And something I'd like to see is like, I'm not in the like listen, I'm not in the gaming business, but if my thing is you're gonna spend all these resources creating, look at this background. There's freaking flames coming up. Like, look at that. Look inside the background. Like, that is cool. The foreground is what it is. I'm not really impressed by the foregrounds. It's whatever. But they make these very elaborate looking locales. I think with the exception of like the entrance in like the first area in the mansion, whatever, which looks like a mansion. Even with that, they don't make it. There's no like, why are we here? Not necessarily why we're here, but why is this thing a thing? Why did I fight that character? It's just, I don't like you. Like this guy. This is the perfect example of why the heck are you here? Who's your employer, right? Who pays your benefits? I'm not. This fight was just as easy as every other fight, and I'm definitely using an OP power. Like his whole purpose of existence is to give me a shard that lets me traverse practically everything. Like that's the thing. Oh, am I farming luck material right here? I'm not sure if I'm farming luck shards. Probably not. But like, that's my thing. Spend 2 weeks if you've got probably your story kind of outlined. Spend your 2 weeks with your writers, whoever, to just like piece together why I'm fighting X enemy. I mean, they're not gonna have any speaking involved unless they're human, and so you'll get your story like. But then there's like, how many bosses in the game? Let's say over 13, where they have their little wrestling entrance, and then you kill them, and revelation as to why you fought them beyond getting their power or they're standing in front of you. Just like every minion, which I'm not expecting. I'm a demon. And here's my backstory, and here's my dating profile. Like I'm not expecting that kind of commitment to making content relevant. But at least for the bosses, right? Otherwise, you just like this. Otherwise, this could be insert generic other Metroidvania game, other game. Like you could change the title, make the main character's name into Chelsea, and I mean it doesn't matter what names the enemies have. There's no connective tissue to this, and that's the one thing I don't like about games like this. I feel like we just downplaced like nothing the importance of story, but just story in general, making content relevant. Like we do this in writing, right? Gosh, I'm gonna get academic in here. We do this in writing, where or you're forced to have a transition. So when you start talking about something, that you don't just start talking about a completely unrelated idea without linking the two, so people can understand like, okay, what the heck did you mean by this, right? You're talking about, like, if I'm trying to formulate an argument, I'm talking about, well, this thing happens over here to give you some background about like this history, and like I'm going towards, because this event happened in 1872, they're now the folks in charge, and now we have, and what they're doing was what they're doing back then. So basically, trying to connect these ideas together into something that makes sense, and that's no different with literally anything, any kind of narrative or experience you're taking the character, the audience through, just like in movies. I don't What we call filler in anime or anything that's a long series is where we find it's just content. It's in the animation style and has similar production values as anything else that shares its name in terms of the series. But this information here is irrelevant to the progression of the larger story. Essentially, it's here to waste your time spent so you can keep engaging in the content with more time, right? I guess I would consider filler as grinding. Difference between filler and grinding is grinding, you feel like there's progress being made so that you can make a more significant progress towards something bigger. Filler, it's not, all it is the spending time, right? Because you could take filler out and that's when progress is actually made. Unless filler is designed in such a way that it provides a significant content contextual piece, feel like there's character growth, it would then otherwise not be filler, right? So, like, basically, I'd like to see more of an investment to, like, it could be in journals. Oh, this place exists because this happened, or through series of certain character. Like you can invent little, like a filler enemy that if you as you kill, they reveal something about like this particular map or what happened that made this like relevant, or an intro sequence the second you walk into something beyond, Inferno Cavern, and that's it. Like that's all you get. The name of the place, a bunch of farmable enemies, including the boss, which you get their power, and then you leave, right? And there's no, and I'm not expecting like, oh, I gotta come back and there's gonna be some deep story plot. Like, no, if you're only coming back to 100% the game, or if you saw a door that you couldn't go through that's gonna take you to another area that you're gonna ignore, right? So that's just something I've noticed about a lot of games. We don't invest in making um, the abundance of the content that we create, the whole arena that the players are working into, relevant. We don't do that. We don't spend any time doing that. I feel like people just don't think it's important or something like that. I don't know. So actually halfway through this, so I'm definitely happy about that. Let's see here. So I already talked about DLC, and at this point, I'm just running through to see like anything I've missed. I'm pretty sure. Did I already? I didn't. I'm pretty sure I've already. Oh, thought I muscled my way through this. Or maybe this is the video. Oh, yeah, this is the video I do. Okay, so I did not find the item that you could use to make this part easier. So, you see these spikes? Yeah, I just stack a bunch of defense and just handle mandle my way through this, healing myself, which I'm not alone. A lot of people did me just because the item you could use to make this part easier, I did not find. And I wasn't prepared. I thought I prepared myself, but wasn't prepared for the amount of healing required to get through this part. What was in that room? Like nothing. So, and it was really interesting is the area here. This part, I was dying, and I think at this point I have like no healing, so my life is so low. So I was like, oh man, this is a one and done. I know I'm playing a lot safer. I'm like carefully looking at my life now because I remember I was near death, and then I saw Homeboy down there, and I'm like, how the heck you can get him where there's nothing I can do? And I'm just like hoping for a safe room. Yeah, go back because I'm like, there's got to be something nearby, and I'm like, I don't want to gamble through. I think, and then I find, okay, I think this is the other side. I'm surprised I go through all of this here. I think I knew that was there like a door or something? Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, no, there was nothing more than unlocking that part of the map in there. I thought there was like a door switch. I would have warped if there was. So yeah, I am. Oh, and then I put the fairy on and let her use a little bit of healing, so I felt slightly better of my chances of going through this. This is like a little gate maze. Yeah, I won't say I'm under leveled, but I didn't upgrade. What am I using? I feel like I have no idea what I'm using. I'm using a sword. Well, that went way too fast for me to know what I'm using. I'm either using a sword or one-handed club. This is a straight up maze, and I'm super nervous about this part. Oh gosh. I was just playing here because I realized you go through those gates and then yeah, there you could just legit just fall forever, essentially, not just messing around. And I'm like, okay, so how the heck? And so they have two, I guess entrances, so to speak. You go through the left or right side, and you'll be warped a different direction on either side. So I think I'm trying to get to the upper right. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the other right area, and eventually I do. Upside down, which I find funny. Oh my goodness. In this area, I just remember, yeah, the enemies were decimating me, and I'm like, I just want to get through and be alive. And then I find the warp, and so everything, so yeah, I can kind of bypass essentially the rest of this. Yeah, I care about narrative. Forgive me if you just care about gameplay and paying your money. You know, I try to get a little bit more out of game, even if I have to develop a story. And I tend to do that with any kind of content, make it kind of relevant to me. I made my own character in Dragon Ball Z universe, probably like anybody else. Or if they didn't, they like imagine. I have a friend who kind of imagines that he's Goku. Where else did I do that? Every time I get a piece of like a movie, well maybe not a movie, but definitely an animated series or a video game. I try to see like if I were in this game or universe, like who would I be? And I used to be a main character, and I'm like, nah, I want to be like because I didn't want to change the lore. I'd be like another character that would be like part of the team some type of way. In this, here's an example. In this game, I imagined that I was a guy that, and I had, it's the same sort of thought I had in the Castlevania world. I wouldn't have any powers. I would be a guy who was just like trying to defend the city and started picking up these items that gave me like decent enough survivability to like explore the castle. And I thought like, now what would this look like if a regular human who can't use any of the shards, can't use any of these powers, but can just use items. And that's what well, outside of the shards, there's nightmare mode where you don't level up, so you're only a statistical increaser from items. Now that's a little bit different than when I was like talking, but I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Like if you're just walking around as a human, with regular jump height, and how would you traverse this? Right? Because Zangetsu, whatever his name, Zangetsu, he's a menace to society. No regular human can jump as high and do all this crazy stuff he does. But if somebody were just to like survive long enough to, because you use some of these cool items that you're creating and actually can be effective at killing these demons, and then like would generally get smarter, stronger, like stronger to like using their weapons, stuff like that. Like, well, I'd be that character, right? I wouldn't be the main character, and like whoever the main character was, Miriam, whatever, she just, or whatever her name is, I have no idea. I think Miriam's actually my character's name, and then was it Charlotte? I have no idea what the name of the dang shopkeeper is. Um, any event, that jostled my memory towards another similar game, because I have the urge to play more Metroidvanias, and so when I got Xbox 360 after college, my friends and I, we played not Dead or Alive, we played Halo 3, and I had terrible wireless connection, so a lot of times I couldn't really play with them. And I bought Dead or Alive 4 because I played Dead or Alive 3 with my friends, and I played that game so late. I had a hard time learning, but eventually I acclimated. That's a longer story, but I want to fast forward to when I started having a lot of fun online playing games, like meeting people. The most fun I've had with games is I tend to like have a good time playing with folks, and then we friend or whatever, and then we play again to get better, and having the actual gaming community is really fun. See, I'm getting tore up right now. During one of the Xbox, I think we call them the summer sale, because it was a summer sale. I think it was the first one I had, would have been in 2000, and the first one I would have experienced, which would have been in, when did I buy that Xbox? Huh. I got it when I graduated, but I went to Brazil. I can't remember if this is 2009, 2010. It might have been 2010. Can't remember. But they had a series of games that came out that were freaking awesome. Monday Night Combat had a blast playing that game. It's not Wave Raid, Hydro Thunder. That was a cool game. I played that. What else did I play? I guess I gotta pause this story for a fight with you know who. That should be actually. Oh, so yeah, the main character chick is named Miriam. Zangetsu. Okay, it's saying that I don't really look at the names. I was just like, I was too busy looking at the dude's little Oriental stickers on there. I want Oriental stickers, for my laptop. He looks like a straight badass, and I also feel he's got the voice similar to Snake. Like I thought that was a David Hayter. It sounded like him. I don't think it's him, but it sounded like him. This was a cool fight. I don't know. I don't lose to like any boss here, but I don't know if you lose to him, if you still advance the story to something different. My guess is that you don't. So in prefaces, I do actually. I don't show it. I don't show it on camera, but I have died to a few bosses. Up to this point, I died to Bloodless killed me once. I fought one of the optional bosses that I won't reveal in this video, nearby anyway. I lost badly. He's the boss that you should fight vastly later in the game, or just do better. Let's see who else killed me. Jeeble didn't kill me. I think I refought him because of like my camera recording or dialogue. I can't remember. I feel like I fought him twice, or maybe if I'd fight him twice, I forget. During no, I think what happens. I didn't lose to him. Is I did while just messing around the game, I did boss rush, and I fought him. So I realized, oh, I fought you already, or something. You unlock boss rush at some point in time, but in boss rush, I died to the last enemy, and yeah, and I won't reveal that, but I think yeah, it doesn't matter. I think we actually kind of know who the boss got. Yeah, Grimmery. That's a boss anyway. I died to her. So yeah. Okay. So Castlevania Harmony of Despair. After playing these other games, which were just cool, I had a. Where did I start making the game community? I feel like we started in whatever order these games were released, and you can look up the summer sale. I met like one or two people playing with one of the games on the summer sale first, and I was good enough for them to want to group up, and so we played, and then he hooked me up with his friends, and then we all started playing Castlevania Harmony of Despair, and then that was the first, and I'm not sure if there's any more, the first uh, multiplayer. I won't say Metrovania, but the first multiplayer game of that quality I ever played. That was such a cool experience, and if you haven't played it, think of like a large, like maybe maybe like six sections of a Castlevania game, or like six like whole entire areas with like one theme. It's this very large map that you play, and you advance all the way through and fight a boss, and you can play together up to I think at least four people. It might have been six players. I can't remember. As different characters from the other Castlevania games. I ended up playing Charlotte because I didn't like my life. I, oh my goodness, because we all picked characters, different characters, just to have different experiences. I played Charlotte. Somebody played Soma. I think somebody played Alucard. I think somebody played that Shanoa. I think somebody played her because they played Jonathan and didn't like him, so they went to Shanoa. So, and I'm playing Charlotte, and so every character plays generally different. With Soma being this like I can do everything God, right? And I hadn't played any Castle. I actually never played a single Castlevania game before. I just watched Symphony of the Night being played, so I knew generally what to expect. So after everyone, I said, well, everyone pick their character, and I'll pick something different. And we were generally going to play together. And our rule was, you could grind, but you couldn't play further than anybody else. So like we would generally always play together. And if you were, like you didn't reveal it. So because it'd be different, you could advance together, so progress is made on, everyone was making the same. If you, everyone could make the same progress, but you could, like, if you play through chapters 1 through whatever. So if we all played together and got to chapters 4, everyone would have unlocked up to chapter 4. But if someone was chapters like 5 and you hadn't unlocked that, you couldn't play with the person who hasn't unlocked it. Couldn't play with it, and obviously that makes sense. So we had to help those people get there, and that's the game you had to grind. And it was just like this, only you had to grind. You had to get new items, make money, level. I don't know if you had to level up spells, whatever. So let me talk about Charlotte. So, everyone's getting cool getting cool gear, right? Getting really awesome gear, and they're getting their skills. I'm like sitting here with my level 1 fireball, and I realize that the way I learn skills, I have to kind of absorb them, and there's no guide out yet, so I'm just like, she holds up a shield, and if it's like a magic ability, she has a chance to learn it. So I'm kind of like just still learning abilities. But she equips like no armor, like nothing. So I'm sitting here like, holy crap, man! Everything hurt me, and I'm not getting like those cool statistical increases that was stat increases that everybody else is from like gear. I'm like, this sucks. So I remember, and her attack, her initial attack was meh, not good. But her spells were cool. I was basically fully reliant on magic and everybody else. I don't remember if there were levels in the game, so it didn't really matter. I just had to be there to pick up items, essentially. And I remember thinking, my character is garbage. Like this sucks. Eventually, I pick up the heal spell and I become a lot more relevant because people were kind of suiciding stuff, and I was a really good person to do like these double powers, whatever. We usually had like big area effect, but they weren't really necessary. So I remember feeling like I was like a heal slave. I'm like, whatever, I'm part of the team. And at some point, like, everyone was getting a lot stronger than I was. So I was like, well, what the heck do I do? Like, I kept getting spells, but I'm not getting stronger. Charlotte gets stronger when you level up her magic. You level up her magic by essentially relearning it from an enemy that uses these skills. And I found that out not using the guide. I found that out when I blocked a skill that I already learned, and then I saw like a animation, so to speak. And I'm like, I wonder what happened. I looked at the spell and I realized it got stronger. I'm like, oh, okay. So I grinded my spells. I learned a few spells I didn't learn, and then I realized that my stats are increasing. I'm like, oh, so she actually gets legit stronger when she learns spells, levels up her spells. And then I realized she gets like new attack animations, and they end up being really good. Her attack range is one of the best. If you grind, I just remember grinding, and so at some point that little gaming troop we get together and play again, and I am extremely useful because Charlotte is like the best long range attacker, and there's so many things you can do to manipulate MP, where you essentially have this limitless resource pool. She's got this setup where you can essentially use your life to cast, like something like using your life to cast magic or refill. You can use your life to cast magic. There's an item that lets you do that, and then when you level up heal enough, you the amount of life you heal, because so when you cast magic and you're using life, you use life, but the amount of life that you heal off a heal versus the amount of life you would lose for the cost of the spell isn't, basically you can heal for more than it casts, so she'll have this, she's basically invincible. You can cast all the magic you want and then heal up, and then you're good. So I just remember having this overabundance of magic, and I'm just shooting these big old fireballs because when she levels up her magic, she gets new attack animations or so they kind of like grow and whatever. And I was having a blast playing that game. We played that for so long, and I'm like, see, that made for the experience because there was no story. I can't even. This was just a what we call it, a compilation, a dream scenario. Like it was just a means to get people playing together. And that game had DLC, and I bought it. But it was such a cool experience, like playing with my friends, experiencing this, different characters in the Castlevania universe, being able to feel like I love the feeling of progression. I think that's one of the reasons why I keep like looking at MMOs. I like the idea of making progress and feeling like I'm being rewarded for hard work, right? Because hard work doesn't always pay off. Gosh, I don't even remember fighting this dog. I think he drops like a resist shard that I must have picked up at some point because I think I've killed him 3 times. I don't know. I wish they tracked the amount of times that you kill these demons too. That's not necessary, but just to just to know, like if you see how many shards you have, and like it's like a 10% chance. Everything I think it's like 4% or whatever. You've killed 50 and you never get one. It's like, is it really 4% though? So yeah, I had a blast playing that game. As I had this game, so I'm just curious where multiplayer can go in this. I like when games are trying to encourage a social aspect. People don't realize how important playing together, talking to each other is. I know we live in a salty world and toxicity is just the flavor of the day, but it's very important for us to have a communal experience playing games. Like I come from couch co-op, right? I come from playing an arcade and talking to people, having to wait, learning through observation, right? Like before YouTube, I didn't have the communal experience where I'm just watching someone play and maybe talking to them in chat. And obviously I'm doing that to y'all that are watching my Twitch, but that experience of playing with others. For some reason, why am I not using invert? I hope I'm not like these videos aren't out of order. I don't think so. Anyway, any event, it's just important. There's a huge deterioration in community and communication skills. Like when Smite and other games have to have these like reward-based systems so people can play together properly and not leave. Like I can understand like feeling like you're wasting your time because you're playing a game and you want to win, but you're not, and it's frustrating. And there's a lot of issues with our game community. We all out here struggling. Well, I've reached my point in time. I hope you've enjoyed these ramblings. The next video will have sound. You all take care. This is